Welcome back. We are here on the set. Thanking you guys for joining us. We are here with Chipo Sabeta, who is going to be telling us about her life story, where she started, how she is, and also to tell us who she is. Because, hey, people want to know who Chipo Sabeta is. She's a media personality, and I'm really going to enjoy hearing about your stories, Chipo. Welcome.
How are you? What's an I?
Well, I'm well. Glad to have you.
hmm Good to see you too, and thank you for picking me up.
Right. So tell us, who is Chipo Sabeta and what do you do?
um, my name is Chipo Sabeta. Some know me as Chichi. I'm a journalist by profession, and I chose to pursue sports journalism um, when I started my career at Zim Papers. And basically, I'm into sport. I'm an all-round sports reporter. I started at Zim Papers. I worked under the group in publications like The Herald, H Metro, Sunday Mail, the Business Weekly. You know how it is when you're working for Zim Papers Media Group. It's a convergence company. So also would also share stories to their television channels, ATN, and radio stations.
Now, so how did you choose the life of sport? Because it's rare. You know how guys always think it's in Bakoman and sports, but here you are, a female within the industry. How did you choose that?
Oh yeah, I went to Norway High School Mission in Macheke, and I was naturally sporty, right? I used to play netball. I used to run. I used to play basketball, and I used to play. I also used to play football. So
Okay.
even prior that, I was very very active during my primary time, during my primary era, and besides being active, I've always been interested in sport, and my father used to like sport a lot. We used to sleep late watching all those night matches, Premier League and all, and he was a Man U fan. Um, and then when I finished school, I decided to study journalism. Well, I studied journalism by default or mistake. I can't tell. But a cousin was at Harare Polytechnic, and I was all over the country, probably looking for a place after passing my A levels. And I was at UZ, I was at MSU, and my cousin convinced me to go for um, journalism. And I'll tell you that the first time I went there, because I went there and it was late. Schools were about to open. And last minute I was called, and I'm like, I'm going to take it up. That's how I started journalism, mass communication at Harare Polytechnic. Um, my attachment days were at Zim Papers, and I worked in the Herald and the Sunday Mail. Um, and after finishing school, after attachment, you go back to school, completing the projects and dissertations and all. And I went back to Zim Papers, where I joined them as a stringer, as a contributor. You know how it is, you just don't get a job in the media industry. And it was a period where I was covering probably the entry point of most journalists. You go for like easier beats. And then this year, the trip was organized that we go to FIFA headquarters for the awards ceremony, where we met Arsene Wenger, where we met other. It was an inspirational trip for me, considering that you have to tour the FIFA CIS University Museum, the Olympic Museum, Football Museum, among other places. These things that just encourages you to go
Yeah.
for to go for more, to do more, you know. Yep. And that was it. For me, it was just an academic achievement, probably I didn't think that things would go viral like that.
Yeah,
And
like just exploded.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And wherever I go, I'm Zimbabwean first, you know. I'm Zimbabwean first. Um, I don't hesitate that tag, you know. So many things are related to Zimbabwe in terms of it could be issues too. You know how it is with economy and how sometimes um, things are perceived about, in general, third world countries. But then, like I said, I'm Zimbabwean first. It doesn't change. So I had to go there with my head high, with my flag, you know, to represent. And I knew it was an opportunity for me to just put the country up there. And when we met
Mm.
Wenga, I'm like, okay, Imbobata flag. um, you know, those moments they don't come twice. Opportunity yo comes once, you know.
Yes. I'm a bit biased because I'm an Arsenal fan. So I'm just here like, oh yes, yes, she met Arsene Wenger. Like I'm just
Yeah.
I,
Oh yeah.
oh,
And a lot of Arsenal fans are trying to recruit me.
we want you. We want you. Like, yeah, we
Yeah,
Chipos.
they're trying to. Yeah, seeing him, he's a football scientist, and when you meet a big, big man in sport, you know, his influence is felt. You know, he talked to us. It was just 5 to 10 minute speech. You can actually tell the depth of his knowledge and his experience. As they say, you know, experience is the best teacher. He has walked. He has been into the. He's been in the field, and he's seen it all. You know, and
Yeah.
that's why, you know, international organizations like FIFA um, equally know that he's very valuable to the organizations.
Mm-hmm. Now
Mhm.
that's an. How was that? How was the whole FIFA acknowledgement and everything? How? I'm really curious. And
I was,
I saw your pictures and I'm like, I wish I was you. I wish I
uh,
was that.
um, um, like I always say, I'm trying to empower myself, educate myself. You need experience in fields, but you also need academic knowledge to deal with certain things head on. Professional etiquette, conduct in how we do things. You need the knowledge. You just don't need to say, I have been there, I've done this, I'm knowledgeable. You also need the academic part of it. And most of the things that I'm studying, like I'm trying to start are basically online and still obviously focusing on my passion in sport as well, knowing that Black women in Europe generally are at a disadvantage. Um, Besides the gender card, there are also issues to do with maybe, you know, how it is when you didn't, I wasn't born and bred here, and I'm
Yeah.
a, you know, so you have to adapt quickly and you have to learn and you have to go to school to get used to these some of these little things that people may take for granted, to get used to a system. And that's schooling, education, and exposure, you know, will take you far.